Good morning, citizens of Gotham and all the ships at sea. More than a decade ago, I wrote what was supposed to be a book of short stories. And as you might guess, none of the literary agents liked them. They were more interested in publishing a book written by Paris Hilton's dog. Yeah. So today I'm going to read one of those stories to you. Now the pitch is very simple. It's about a grocery store clerk who's killed at an ATM machine, and while heaven denies him vengeance, the man downstairs has a job for him. Now, oftentimes when I outline a story, I imagine which actor would fit into a certain role. In the case of The Man Downstairs, I modeled the performance on a chameleon-like actor named Michael Wincott. And I remember the first time I saw him was opposite Eric Bogosian in Talk Radio. He played the metalhead who visits the studio. And then, of course, you've seen him in The Doors, where you've seen him in The Crow, where he played the villainous Top Dollar. He was in 1492 and even played a kidnapper who literally peels off the guise of an obese professor to kidnap a kid. I could just imagine him voicing my version of Satan, who does not like it when you bust a deal with him. Now, contrary to popular belief, most of hell can be very cold. Worse than Barrow, Alaska cold. Only the areas near the volcanic pits are warmer. That's where most of the labor camps are. You might categorize a story like Under New Jersey as a horror comedy. However, this is not for kids. I'm putting that disclaimer out there, right here and now, so any of you underage kids can click off because you've been legally warned. Did you click off yet, kids? Okay. If you're still watching, then whatever alters your electrochemical balance in your underdeveloped brain is your own fault. You've been warned. If this story is to your liking, then just go to Facebook and check out the Gotham Filmwerks page where you can see what else I'm up to. I have plenty of material never published and all of it copyrighted, but all of it just sitting on shelves right over here, going to waste. Well, rather let it go to waste. I'd rather read it all to you. So, let's begin Under New Jersey. Your mind can drift to the edge of oblivion while doing a repetitive job, and you wouldn't know it unless someone like Roland came swaggering down the aisle to tell you. "What are you still doing stocking cereal?" asks Roland in a bellowing voice. "You should be on aisle 7 by now." It occurs to Vinny that he's still stacking Yakko, Wacko, and Dot's cereal as he glances at his Coleman watch and notices the time. He yawns and then hopes Roland does not think he's being disrespectful, just tired. "Lucy called in sick tonight, so I'm doing her aisles too." "Well, don't expect to get paid double," grumbles Roland. "I'm not running a workfare facility over here." "Oh, I know," says Vinny. "Those people get paid just to turn oxygen into carbon monoxide. Yeah, it's dioxide." "Oh, and I thought you didn't know that chemistry stuff." Yeah, that's right. "I don't know all that college chemistry stuff," balks Roland. "And then right now, I need you to haul ass and get these damn aisles done." Yeah. "Be done by 10, says Vinny as he yawns again. "Got your paycheck in the mail slot," says Roland as he gestures his thumb back to the front of the store. "And you got off tomorrow like you was wanted." "Thanks, Roland. I'm going to a comic book convention in Manhattan. Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane are going to be there." "Yeah? Who are they?" asks Roland. "Comic creators," replies Vinny. "Some of the best writing and art today is done in the comics. It's a medium you can tell anything." No shit. Roland smiles. "I used to read Spider-Man, but I sold all my books so I could pay taxes. Yeah, too bad eBay wasn't around back then. I could have made enough to buy a condo, maybe a small house." "Comic books are the poor man's retirement fund," advises Vinny. Yeah, I'll have to start collecting again," says Roland with a shrug. "I'm already 38. "I turned 32 last month." Roland nods. "Yeah, time goes by fast when you work 7 days a week." "Too busy making a living to have a life," observes Vinny. "Hey, Vinny, life is just something that might happen to you while you're waiting to die." Somehow, Vinny couldn't argue with Roland's profound and cynical statement. Roland was one of those guys who'd worked since he was a tiny kid to support his mom and siblings, so he missed out on dances, dating, the prom, college, bloody everything. There was only the grind for Roland, and if he was lucky, he'd have a coronary by age 54 and drop dead on aisle 9 amidst the cookies and candies. Otherwise, he'd exist to retirement age and then have to move into a homeless shelter because he could not afford the $1,580 a month for that fire trap he was inhabiting. Life is a waste if you're not born rich. This was yet another one of Roland's witticisms. In the jungle, it is a creature of habit that becomes predictable to a watchful predator and therefore easy to track and kill. Oddly enough, the same is true in Jersey City. Vinny is at the same ATM machine he goes to every Thursday night at 10:37 p.m. and fills out the same deposit slip, puts it in the same envelope. He inserts the envelope carrying his small paycheck into the motorized slot, and the machine takes it in, records it, and then spits back the same amount of cash back, only $100 to last the week. Feeling a cold wind on the back of his neck, Vinny turns to see a ski-masked man enter the glassed-in lobby. But the guy never pulls his ski mask off. He just peels a 9mm Glock out of his thin Soleil jacket, aims it at Vinny, and squeezes the trigger. Before Vinny can even gasp, the bullet crosses the distance, bursts through his skull, explodes the frontal lobe of his brain, and shuts off the neurosignals to his muscles. He just crumples to the white tile floor while the remains of his brains roll out chunk by chunk into an expanding pool of blood. The ski-masked man just steps around what's left of Vinny, picks up the $100 and stuffs it in his pocket. Then he reaches down to fish into Vinny's pockets, yanks out his flat wallet, and then makes for the door. The blood pool expands to an 8-foot in diameter expanse. The surveillance camera just keeps recording. No one will be by to report what happened to the police until around 07:09 a.m. It's not like all those near-death types tell you it is. You don't get to see your body as you float up above it. There's no shimmering tunnel of light. There's no seeing dead friends, relatives, or even pets. It's more like blinking. 1 second, your brain is splashing against the ATM machine, and the next, you're staggering toward a rather gray, sulking, bored caseworker who could give a shit how you ended up there. You don't know this caseworker's name, and there's no nameplate on the desk. You just stagger up there while the caseworker opens your file and smirks at you as if it didn't care how you lived, or how you died, or why you got killed. "Vincent Corelli," says the caseworker, "you've been a good man, and you will take your place with God." Somehow, Vinny got the idea this caseworker had said that line over 400 quadrillion times, and that it really held no meaning for him anymore. It was just something, a formality, that he said before the routine processing. Nothing more. But Vinny has questions. "You say, Peter?" "No," says the caseworker as it rolls its eyes. "Fine, great. I gotta talk to the manager. I got shot in the head. I wasn't doing nothing wrong. I just put my paycheck in, got my little $100 out, was gonna buy a pizza, and some punk splashed my brains all over the goddamn ATM. Now that punk is on Earth right now spending my money on who knows what, and I'm getting buried in a mass grave with the homeless and nameless on some goddamn island." "No one is nameless here, Vincent." That's great, but I want blood. That guy wasted me, and I want to waste him. But I'm gonna take the son of a bitch slow." "There is no vengeance in heaven, Vincent." "There's no justice without vengeance." "There is justice in Christ, my son." "That's fine. If Christ has a .44 automag, then he's the guy I want to see. And give me some body armor too. Those 9mm hurt when they slam chunks of your skull into your brains." "I can understand that you're distraught," says the caseworker in a patronizing voice, "but there'll be no vengeance. You're at peace here." "Okay, give me a lightning bolt and I'll burn his ass up." "Vincent, trillions of souls who have been taken too young past these gates. Yes, many of them resented their loss of life at such a young age, but they also accepted the salvation that heaven offers. Look, I'm not into organized religion. All that does is give people more excuses to hate anyone different from them. That's no plan. I just want some payback over here. All we ask before you go through these gates is that you leave behind your earthly concerns and focus on the good of what lies beyond. Hey, there's a guy down there that's getting away with murder. Nothing for nothing, but this time he killed the wrong guy. This hate you hold on to only poisons your soul. We cannot let you infect other souls with such bad feeling. Hate is contagious. There must be harmony and peace in this place, or we are all damned. I've been damned since birth. I can't get a job that pays no matter how many college degrees I get. I live in a crummy 400 square foot apartment infested with rats, junkies, whores, and roaches. And none of them kicking the rent either. You ever open your cereal box? You get your first bite out of it, you put it away. The next day, you go to get your cereal box, you pour it out. Ain't no cereal, but there's a great big rat, bigger than your fist, and he's scurrying away. He took your cereal. Did you pay for it? No. Now then, I can't get no break. I think we established that, okay? And then I get my brains shot out. I deserve better. And if I can't get it in life, then I'm damn well gonna get it now. The caseworker sighs. I see that you're not ready to accept salvation. Perhaps you will prefer eternity elsewhere. Vinny sees the caseworker wave its hand. The cloud floor below just billows away, and suddenly gravity isn't there anymore. And neither is Vinny, who just plunges down into the swirling vortex that seems to change from a cool blue to a bloody crimson. Before he can even blink, he's falling into the hell dimension and landing ankle deep in ash and ice. He makes the mistake of taking a breath, only to get a lung full of toxic stink that cannot be produced in the midst of the most volatile chemical plants, rubbing his eyes and coughing out the dry toxin coating his throat. He looks up to see hundreds, thousands, millions of the damned shuffling along a high catwalk into the heated, whisking blades of the Soul Grinder. What comes out of the Soul Grinder is meat for the cattle. Hearing a crunching sound behind him, Vinny turns around to see two 8-foot-tall demon guards in rock armor approaching with long spears. Down on your knees, filth. The second guard sneers, more of heaven's trash. The demon guards thrust their spears at Vinny, who ducks low and kicks the first guard in the chest, knocking him back. The second guard sweeps his spear at Vinny's head. Vinny grabs the spear right behind the point in his left hand and punches with his right hand into the guard's gut. Yanking the spear out of the second guard's hands, Vinny pivots around and plunges the business end into the throat of the rushing first guard. By the time he pulls the spear back out, the first guard is dropping to his knees, coughing up flaming embers and slowly keeling over. Pulling a long knife from a sheath, the second guard holds it high and rushes. Vinny tosses the spear into the chest of the second guard, causing him to convulse and drop. Don't mess with me, maggot! Snaps Vinny. I'm from New Jersey! He just stands there watching them convulse to death. This is odd. They were dead already. They're dying again. You can never stop dying in hell. Embers gush out of their wounds and form pools around their prone forms. Deciding he's enjoying this violence, he yanks the long knife around the second guard's hand and stomps its head. Then with a cruel smile on his face, he chops down and slices the head off the second guard. He then grabs it by the hair and holds it high, hoping the damned walking into the grinder might just see what happened to him. Yo, say hello to my little friend. Then he punts the head into a pool of ground souls. Just as Vinny starts swaggering out proud of himself, he hears a clapping sound from above. Now that's what I like, howls the devil as he applauds. Good theater. Vinny turns around to see Satan descending from a high precipice and landing near the bodies of his guards. If this was Satan, he was not like he was depicted in a lot of bad movies. No red horns on his head, no spandex red suit with a tail, none of that crap. This guy wears a fine black Armani suit with Oxford shoes from Churches of England and a charcoal gray shirt. Been a long time since I saw anyone kill one of my guards. Damn long time. Satan gestures to the damned as they mindlessly, willingly shuffled into the soul grinder. Look at those sorry cattle, Vinny. They just walk into the old soul grinder and they're gone. They were born useless, followed their urges, their vices, and they were too stupid to know why. They're a waste of flesh. Now they're wasted souls. But you, boy, you got potential. Satan snaps his fingers. Satan and Vinny appear in the sanctum. Sitting down in his easy chair, Satan puts his feet up on the back of a sleek whore down on all fours. Vinny gasps and looks around the ornate room and cannot help but admire the architectural genius of carving an entire skyscraper out of cinder and stone. He moves toward the 8-foot-tall oval windows that look out on the city of damnation below. To begin with, Vinny, my boy, I know why you're here. Those little Pollyannas in heaven won't let a working man have a little vengeance for his untimely death. How is a man to get any closure for his life when his killer is out there spending his hard-earned cash? He can't. That's right, my man, he can't. Here you are working 50 to 70 hours a week. No time or money for a social life, am I right? A few times a year, you get to a comic show or a movie, but that's it. Life is not worth waking up to unless you make a few $100,000 a day, am I right? You're right. Damn right I'm right. And right now, that little puke is in Manhattan with a hooker and a bottle of Hennessy, having a good old time with himself. Where's the justice, I ask? I haven't seen any yet, sir. You will, says Satan with a nod and a devious smile. Want to have some fun? Vinny takes a look at the whore Satan has his feet on. She could be fun. Oh, you don't want her, Vinny. Dirty little Washington intern turned prostitute. Couldn't get herself a book deal after the scandal, so she ended up selling her assets on the street. You can wipe your feet on them, but you don't want them handling your food, drink, or anything private if you take my meaning. Now, what you need is justice. Am I right or wrong? Damn right you're right. That's the spirit, Vinny. Now you're thinking. Satan snaps his fingers again. A section of wall spirals open to reveal a circular monitor. On the monitor, Vinny can see the punk in a hotel bed, no longer wearing his ski mask, his Glock on the night table, an empty bottle of Hennessy in the plastic garbage can. A shapely hooker wearing only a nose ring struts out of the bathroom and slides into bed with the punk, ready for more action! Just like I said, says Hennessy. This is Satan. Hennessy, hooker, and a hot cheap hotel. What do you want to see happen to him, Vinny? I want to see him die uglier than me. Lots of ways to die ugly. You want to see him freeze? You want to see him burn? You want to impale him? You want to see a disease eat him to the bone? What would make you laugh, my boy? Spontaneous human combustion. Now you're thinking, Vinny. Make it happen. How? Think of a fire igniting in his belly. The fire feeds on his juices, burns hotter, the fire becomes an inferno. Think on it, Vinny. Think on it. You can do it. Vinny stares at the image of the punk, writhing in bed with the hooker. He smiles. Then he watches the punk fall out of the hooker, grab his stomach, and belch loudly. He's feeling the burn, Vinny, announces Satan happily. Vinny watches the punk rolling in bed, curling into a ball, and screaming! The hooker is bewildered. The punk pukes up a mouthful of hot, acidy reflux, the kind that makes your nasal passages burn. That's it. Make him scream, Vinny. Vinny thinks of the punk blazing over a rotisserie, and then watches him convulse till his stomach bursts open and fire envelops both he and the hooker. In seconds, the whole room is ablaze, and the screams of the punk and the hooker echo. They roll frantically and try uselessly to beat the flames away from their skin, but that only causes it to pop. Their hair chars, their meat broils, and they shriek all the way to an agonizing death. You did it, Vinny. You did it. Proud of you, boy. Vinny laughs as he watches the small hotel room become an inferno with two charred bodies smoldering on the burned springs of the mattress. Vinny looks to Satan with a look on his face as if he's asking if what had just happened was possible. That's called pyrokinesis. You just think of ignition and fire breaks out. Hey, are we having fun or what? Yeah, I'm having fun. That just feels good, don't it?
Damn right it does, sir.
Satan blasts out a guffaw. Why did they just let me do this in heaven? Because vengeance is addictive. Do it once, it feels good. Do it again, feels even better. Before long, you're looking at a body count of biblical proportions. The Nazarene don't mind letting thousands die of disease and natural disaster. He just doesn't want anyone getting in on his action. That's very selfish of him. Satan nods, very hypocritical. So, who else can we find? Glad you asked me that. Satan snaps his fingers and a scroll appears in his hand. I made a list. I checked it twice. I already know who is damned and who is in denial. How can you deny that you're damned? Hey, kind of a formality here. How do you know you get damned in the first place? To answer the second question first, you get damned by making a deal with me. Lots of people do it. More than you think. They don't have the patience or the connections to succeed in life, so they pray to the Nazarene. But he listens to no one, and his bureaucracy is very frustrating. So they come to me. They trade their soul for political connections, fame, financial status, youth, whatever they think they need, and I give it to them. Vinny shrugs. Yeah, deal's a deal. Damn right it is. What happens is, they don't want to live up to their part. They run off to the nearest church, find Christ, get born again, and they think they can bust a deal with the man downstairs. Problem is, maybe the Nazarene is watching over them now, and the Nazarene likes redemption stories. Makes him look magnanimous and kindly when he takes in a damned lamb. Oh, okay. So who are the damned lambs? Politicians, actors, athletes, lawyers, corporate officers, anyone willing to sell their soul for a fast, easy track to success. And you gave them all what they wanted? Damn right I did, Vinny, my man. But they still want to go upstairs. I gave them their cake, and they ate it. Now they want to write out on paying the check. So, you're going to strike them down? Well, there's a lot of them now, Vinny. I need a hand. Someone who understands the value of justice. Someone who can strike fast and not be noticed. If that's a job offer, then I'm interested. Interesting how a guy can turn so quickly after realizing he's been deceived. Think so? Damn right. You've been an altar boy since you were 8 years old. One bullet in the head and rejection by those who you believed in, and you adjust to overseeing the damned. And my life's been nothing but rejection, nothing but frustration, nothing but work, and no payoff, you know what I mean? I know. You were always the last selected for stickball because you're left-handed. You had no money and marginal looks, so you didn't get to date too often. You don't know the social graces to play politics, so you never had any promotions on any of those jobs you did. Your parents are working class. They voted Democrat. Worked their ways in their early graves. And they didn't come here too, did they? Working 7 days a week for small pay. Might feel like slow suicide, but no, your parents are not here, Vinny. Oh, well. So you might understand how it seems strange to me that a nice guy like you gets dropped down here. Same way I get dropped everywhere. Rejection, discrimination. Nice guys are damned at birth, so we all might as well come here and get some goddamn payback. Your problem is you were not wanted in life, not respected, but you have to look at the bigger picture. See, death lasts longer than life. You're going to have a great time here, Vinny. You're going to be my avenging angel. Me? You. And you want me to whack out some rich people? Yes. Burn them all? Well, burning can get boring. You gotta be creative. You can freeze them, give them a stroke, or a heart attack. Make them terminally ill. Make them walk north and kiss a southbound train, but most of all, have fun! When can I start? Satan holds out the scroll, then he takes it and rolls it and slowly hits the floor and keeps rolling. He actually recognizes some of the names on the list. This is going to be fun. I realized you had a busy day, worked 8 hours, got shot in the head. Dropped out of heaven, killed two demon guards, a street thug, and a crack whore. Want to take a rest? I want to get creative first. I got eternity to rest. Like a man with a work ethic, says Satan as he stands up. Come with me and I'll show you the war room. Satan smacks Vinny on the shoulder, the two vanish. Alone in the sanctum living room, the horse stays down on her hands and knees. She barely lifts her head to look out the tall windows. She doesn't crawl to the window to look out on the city below. She knows the punishment for moving unless ordered to will be an ordeal that will last in her memory for thousands of years. And she's only been here a small march of days. Satan and Vinny appear in the middle of the war room. Vinny looks at the U-shaped console in front of him and a plethora of floating screens showing politicians and celebrities who are under demonic surveillance. Not a hell of a lot to look at, but it does the job. You watch them from here? Damn right. Watch them and drop them. Problem is, there's little technicality. The Nazarene watches me and I watch him. Hard to make one of my hits look like natural causes. Guess I'm too ostentatious. But you, I think a little smaller so no one notices me till it's too late. That's it. So, who goes first? Real turncoat. Little Puke started out in heavy metal. After years as a hedonist, he made numerous mistakes and was incarcerated. In prison, he finds Christ the Nazarene and went Christian rocker. Shouldn't be hard to find. He's up there in the Colorado Rockies singing Kumbaya with a bunch of tree-hugging, granola-eating holy rollers.
You mean Axe Grind?
A.K.A. Kyle Lovely. That's right, Axe Grind. An image appears on a hollow screen of a white denimed garbed Kyle Lovely singing with his little wife Stacy on stage with a white gown choir, drummer, guitarist, and keyboard player. Vinny snorts laughter. He can't wait to drop this hypocrite. Now don't go get wacko on me. Just keep it simple. Make it look natural. Vinny shrugs. A simple change of heart. Kyle has been hitting the fast foods a bit since he's been on tour. Vinny nods. Yeah, all that sodium is bound to raise the blood pressure. Staring at the image of Kyle, Vinny can only feel jealous disgust for a guy who's had everything he's wanted in life. Every urge, every desire, every whim. Well, Vinny has had nothing of it. He cannot think of a reason not to snuff this hypocrite out. Just a small blockage near the ventricle, suggests Satan. Vinny stares ever more intently at the image of Kyle, and in his mind he sees the hypocrite's ventricles jam, the blood no longer pump through, and cause a severe raise in pressure that threatens the heart action. Satan watches the screen to see Kyle Lovely gasping for air and rubbing a pain in his chest. His wife Stacy looks to him with concern. Kyle Lovely drops to his knees with an agonized look on his face. Now drop him! Vinny smiles. Kyle Lovely drops face down on the stage. His band rushes to him. Droves of fans either gasp or start praying as if by reflex. Kyle Lovely can only twitch. Flatline! Kyle Lovely can only be seen going limp on stage and his last breath issue out of him. Satan smacks Vinny on the shoulder. Execution complete. Vinny gasps. It takes a bit out of you. You'll get stronger soon, Vinny. It's always tough at first. I used to think killing was wrong. Well, unless it's capital punishment. I'm all for that. Kyle Lovely lived to be 48 years old. You died at 32. Kyle had 5 houses, a yacht, and a Learjet. You had a 400 square foot studio apartment. Kyle had a pretty wife and millions of adoring fans. You could count all your friends on one hand. He'll be buried in a mausoleum and visited daily. Your body goes to Potter's Field by day's end, and no one knows you from the homeless. So what did being a nice guy ever get you? That's one way of looking at it, says Vinny with a shrug. What would happen if he hadn't made a deal with you? He'd be another burnout musician from Flint, Michigan, playing gigs and shot in the beer joints. I wanted to be a comic book creator. Had talent, but no money for art school. Had a great idea for a book, but no connections. Guess I was born for nothing. A lot of people are born for something, but nothing is a result. I had 32 years. Worked since I was a kid. Never had any money. You're feeling the regret of an unlived life cut short. Yeah, that's it. How do you know how to put into what I'm thinking into words there? I have a keen understanding about regrets. You get lots of time to think about them down here. The reason we get mischievous is because there's little else to do. And then you hear an unanswered prayer whispered on the wind, and you know the Nazarene is ignoring it. So for fun, you answer it. You make a deal, and you get more fodder for the old soul grinder. Yeah, deal's a deal. Everyone thinks I'm a horrible bargainer. But what about the arms merchants trafficking guns, gas, and bombs to anyone with cash enough? What about pimps selling flesh? What about the clergy selling lies? What about school teachers bargaining social acceptance in exchange for blind loyalty? What is the end value in any of that? Death, flesh, lies, and a cattle mentality? I'm thinking value zero. Damn right, Vinny. I think you need a rest. I'm taking you a new pad. I got my own place with one hell of a view. Satan and Vinny vanish. Large over their windows look out on the spires of damnation. On the horizon, surrounded by a vast flaming moat, is Satan's sprawling blackstone fortress. The living room, Vinny's living room, is spacious and decorated in sleek Art Deco furniture. Very 40s and 50s. Hardly what one expects of a domicile in hell, but this is a custom job for one of Vinny's operatives. Satan and Vinny appear in the room, and Vinny can only gasp. His entire apartment with room to spare would fit in the kitchen, and he can only wonder how many more rooms are available on this floor and the one above. This is mine? And that ain't all, my man. Satan whistles. From out of the kitchen steps Holly, forever age 19, wearing tied together rags, a vacant expression, a steel chain around her neck, and nothing more. Vinny turns to see Holly, and his gasp only widens. Satan is amused. Good thing there's no insects down here, or your mouth will be catching them all, pal. Holly? That's right, Vinny. Suicides get an all-automatic trip downtown. She's yours if you want her. If not, drag her down the exchange and trade her in on a blonde or a redhead. What do you mean she's mine? Staffers like you get slaves, condos, lots of perks. She's your property. She rejected you 8 times in high school, but now she's yours till you get sick of looking at that blank expression on her face. You're serious, aren't you? I'm as serious as a bullet in the head. Satan and Vinny laugh. Holly sighs and only hopes she doesn't start crying in front of a guy who could drop her down in the embers. You don't have to be a nice guy down here either. Up on Earth, nice guys get no respect. Ever. Down here, staffers do what they want for as long as they want, so long as the work gets done. Hey, my wife and me are having Caligula and the gang over for dinner. You settle in and we'll make a body count tomorrow. I can do that. Damn right you can. Have fun. Satan vanishes. Vinny walks over to the large windows and looks out on damnation and the fortress beyond. Then he looks into the room to see Holly sob as if she's going to cry. So, this is where life in the fast lane got you. Holly slumps over and sobs. This is where you go when the captain of the football team gives you HIV and then you kill yourself in the bathtub. Left blood all over your parents' bathroom. Yeah. Guess this is where you go when there's no more games to play. Holly's sobbing now. She sinks down onto the white couch. Vinny advances, grabs a steel chain around her neck and yanks to her feet and stares down at her. I didn't tell you to sit on my couch. I didn't tell you to cry. Vinny, please don't. I didn't give you permission to talk back either. Hey, you can forget about me being a gentleman now. Some punk blew my frontal lobe all over the ATM machine. No more gentlemen. There's bits of fried chunks of gentlemen splashed all over the walls and windows, all over the place. Being a gentleman never got me nothing. I mean nothing. Made me a fucking joke. Well, who's laughing now, Holly? I'm the man now. Yeah, me. I point my finger, your heart explodes. Holly can only sob louder. So what you gotta say for yourself now? Vinny, I'm sorry. Oh, you're sorry, huh? You're sorry. 2 little words, that makes everything okay, don't it, Holly? Vinny, did I do this to you? Don't overestimate yourself. It was far from just you. It was all those human resource people with their tests and their tricks and their games and their prejudices that wouldn't let me have a good job, even though I had college degrees. It was all those Just like you, who went for a guy with money and connections. It was a slumlord running a fire trap full of rats that charged over $1,000 a month rent. It was all those people who got the good life just because they were better looking than me. It was all, hell, I want to burn them all. I want to burn them all, even if they're not on the list. When you kill them, they just end up here. Yeah, that's the funny part. And they'll all be wearing steel collars, just like you. You're a good man. How did you get sent here? I wanted revenge on the guy who blew me away. Those swits in heaven wouldn't let me. Drop me down here. Best thing ever happened. I burned up the guy who killed me and his crack whore too. Yeah. Then, just for fun, I dropped Kyle Lovely right on his goddamn face. Holly gasps. Yeah, I made widows and orphans today, but tomorrow's going to be real fun. He's just using you. He gave me a job. He gave me this condo. Gave me you. Forever. So yeah, I'm going to work for him. And what are you going to do now? Haven't given it much thought. Hey, do we get Comedy Central down here? You're not going to force yourself on me? No. Don't flatter yourself. Plus, raping women is unmanly. And I'm the man. And I'm working for the man downtown. You're still a nice guy, Vinny. Thank you. Don't insult me by calling me a nice guy. I didn't mean to insult you, Vincent. I was wrong to reject you. And if I didn't reject you, chances are we'd both be alive and maybe living someplace better. What, better than this? Says Vinny with a wide arm gesture. No way. Donnie Trump ain't got it better than this. I like it down here. A little bit cold, but that's okay. We could be living in Fort Lee, or maybe a nice house in Hosbrook Heights like my sister has. Well, that's not going to happen now. I'm working for the man downstairs. I want to make good on my agreement with him. I'm still an honest man. Satan never mistreats Jezebel either. Yeah, how would you know? Girls on the exchange talk. Not supposed to talk, but we do. You're not going to trade me, are you? Nah. You like a drink? I don't drink. Hey, you can drink the water down here, and it doesn't taste like rust or dry your mouth out. Benny shrugs, sure. Holly walks over to the bar and pours a tall glass of water. Benny walks the opposite way to the windows, looking out on the sprawling city below. Holly walks to Vinny and hands him the glass. He drinks it fast and is impressed by the clean taste. Thanks, very good, says Vinny as he looks at the empty glass. I got a thought. We're dead. We have no physical needs. Why do I enjoy water? Same reason you enjoy food and sex. It reminds us we were alive once. Yeah, what kind of food do you like down here? Slaves don't get much. We're lucky if one of you tosses us a grape or a piece of meat every few years. Doesn't sound like much of a life for you. Life is a gift that was supposed to be cherished, says Holly with a sigh. Some of us didn't know that we lost it. I don't know if I cherished it. I just worked so damn much that I never enjoyed it. Tried. Just never worked out. Guess that's why Satan likes you most. You still act like you're alive. Like you're not one of the walking dead. Is it as bad as the nuns say down here? Can be. People do repetitive labor for eternity. People tortured until they scream for a year long. And if you pass out, they wake you up and do it worse next time. There are levels to this place that defy description. I'll have to take a tour of them places sometime. See if there's anyone else from the old neighborhood down here. Vinny walks over to the bar and opens the refrigerator. Where's the food here? For you, wishing makes it so. How do you mean? Think of what you want and it appears. Okay. We can do that. Chicken parmesan with spaghetti and a salad with Thousand Island dressing, eh? Make it 2 and white wine. 2 servings of the meal and glasses of wine appear on the dining table. Vinny pulls out a chair for Holly. She looks at him, then at the chair. Have a seat and eat. You want me to eat with you? Hey, I'm not in the habit of throwing food at people, you know what I mean? Not knowing if Vinny is baiting her in for a trick, Holly is slow to approach the chair and stand in front of it. Vinny gently places his hands on her shoulders and presses her down to the chair. She forgot what a chair felt like under her. Last year, she said it was bolted to the ceiling of an isolation cell, and that was around 9 years ago. She looks up at Vinny with a confused expression on her young face. Why? Hey, we should have done this 13 years ago. Vinny walks around the table, sits down, grabs his utensils, and starts cutting his chicken parmesan. Steam rises up and he sniffs the aroma. "Don't say grace anymore?" asks Ollie. Vinny snorts. "Nah!" He just shovels the food in his face. Satan sits in the middle of his couch with his feet on the horse back, a glass of red wine in one hand, and the other groping Jezebel. "So he made his bones tonight?" "Certainly did," says Satan with a pleased smile. It's amazing the amount of hate the average person takes in one short lifetime. People don't like how you look. People don't like how you think. People don't respect the job you have or the place you call home. Goddamn brutal up there." Jezebel sips some wine. "All that hate fermenting up there makes prime recruiting grounds for you." "Not necessarily." "No?" "Some people hate for no reason. You can't do much with those people. They're aimless. Now, if you get a religious fundamentalist under your thumb, you might get a whole angry congregation to follow him." Vinny is the type who was wronged in life. And this is his opportunity to throw a little rage back. What if he decides to strike down those who didn't treat him well in life? I don't mind if he knocks down a guidance counselor here, a crabby teacher there, maybe a boss who passed him over for promotion, maybe his landlord. He's going to be tempted. It's one of the reasons I gave him Holly. You can use her to manage temptation. He was dropped down here just like you? Yeah, he's the kid I never had, says Satan. Snaps his wine. He's going to be a fine enforcer. Jezebel sighs. I guess we should prepare for more screaming. Damn right. Vicky is the stereotypical blonde female reporter talking to Senator Hereford, the slick 30-something politician. The circular stage is illuminated by limbo lighting directly above. Election day posters and banners comprise a tossed-together background. A board camera operator pans from Vicky to Senator Hereford, and their dialogue continues. And you claim that voters are yearning for a return to Christian family values? Oh, yes, Vicky, absolutely, replies Senator Hereford. My wife, my children, the church, and the King James Bibles are pillars of my everyday life. I cannot imagine anyone desiring any other foundation for themselves. I read where you became born again before marrying your wife. Quite so, Vicky. I wanted my wife to be, my family to be based on the firmest. He bites his tongue. His left massage that causes his tongue to bleed. Ow! Vicky looks to the camera. The back is Senator Hereford. He covers his mouth and his eyes start to water. Blood suddenly spurts between his fingers, causing Vicky to hop out of her seat. Are you okay, Senator? Senator Hereford takes his hand from his mouth and fumbles for a handkerchief. He opens his mouth to take a breath, revealing a split tongue going halfway up. Senator, your tongue! It will take 9 minutes for paramedics to arrive. Senator Hereford sprouts horns through his forehead and bleeds from the wounds in his tongue in 7 minutes. On national TV, no less. At a century-old country club, 5 corporate heads who look like they came from the same litter stand around a table holding their champagne glasses up. Wearing identical suits and short haircuts, you can barely distinguish the females from the males. The middle-aged chairman stands behind a podium at the head of the table. Our profits have never been higher, and with labor and production costs capped, we can look forward to considerable growth in this fiscal year. Friends, I toast you one and all. The chairman sips his champagne. Then the other corporate heads do likewise. Suddenly, they go into convulsions, gasp for air, grimace as their flesh metamorphoses into solid salt. In mere seconds, they are reduced to statues, standing about the table in odd poses. The glasses fall from their hands, strike the tables, shatter. The cramped trailer smells of perfumes, sprays, deodorants, and makeups, all issuing aromas that could never be duplicated in nature. The snotty starlet sits in her makeup chair, reading a tabloid while being touched up by an emaciated hairdresser. Hunched slightly in a submissive posture, the assistant enters the trailer carrying a bowl of candies. The starlet need only glance at them before gasping and throwing her pointy nose up. Oh, bloody hell, snaps the starlet. They left the green ones in. I expressly demand they remove all the green ones. The assistant hunches ever so slightly more. But they all taste the same. I don't like the green ones. Paying the drama little mind, the hairdresser starts brushing the starlet's hair, causing a huge clot to be ripped out of her pink scalp. The starlet grabs her head and screams, "Well, what have you done to me?" Don't panic, stutters the hairdresser. I'll comb it over. The hairdresser tries combing hair over the bald spot, only to rip out an even larger clump of blonde hair from the starlet's scalp, causing her to shriek even louder. The hairdresser tosses the brush on the counter. Oh, what to do? Quickly, the hairdresser makes an attempt at a career-saving attempt, no less, by grabbing a thin bristle brush and tries to move the hair from behind the starlet's head over the bald spot. But the starlet's hair just comes out in the comb, causing her to wail even more. The entire top of her head is now bald. Damn it to hell! No, I'm bald! A knocking comes at the trailer door. We're ready for you on the set, Ms. DeVille, calls a production assistant. Stupidly, the hairdresser makes a last-ditch attempt to brush hair from the left side of the starlet's head. She only succeeds in ripping another clump out of the starlet's head, causing her to sob. "Oh, you're mutilating me now, you scarecrow!" screams the starlet. "How can you do this to someone so much better than you? You're fired!" I'm fired? You're the one who's bald, you spoiled bitch, snaps the hairdresser with a stomp of a foot. Who the hell's gonna fire you? Who the hell are you gonna fire? Hey, I got an idea. You step outside this trailer looking like Miss Thing and tell the director I'm fired. Disbelieving the sight of herself in the mirror, the starlet slowly touches her bald head and then sobs several times. Tears cause the wet mascara to run. How can I go outside looking at this? I'm ruined! The assistant shrugs and eats a piece of green candy. How about a wig? Oh, it won't match, you little tramp, snaps the starlet. My public place to see Ms. Claudia DeVille, not a wig that talks! The assistant rolls her eyes. I guess you're up shit creek. Who do you think you're talking to? You're fired! I dare you to step outside looking like that and tell the director I'm fired, says the assistant as she puts her hands on her hips and rotates her neck. Then she eats another piece of green candy. Frantically, the starlet grabs a large brimmed hat, plops it down on her head, and shakes her finger. The assistant and the hairdresser exchange glances. You're finished! Finished! Both of you! Finished! Shoving open the door, the starlet rushes out of the trailer and screams! The sound of a powerful car rumbling approaches, followed by brakes screeching, and then a loud thump. Smirking, the hairdresser steps over the door, looks out, and chuckles. What happened? Asks the assistant. Girl, she's sprawled out like Bambi's mother all over the hood of the Batmobile. The assistant breaks into a maniacal laughter. On a laptop computer is a readout showing the stock in Virocon plunging down to 23 cents per share. The investment banker sobs, cocks his 9mm Beretta, and watches the stock drop to a mere nickel per share. He places the business end of the Beretta against the roof of his mouth, sobs one last time, and squeezes the trigger. By the time his hair, teeth, and eyeballs splash against the ceiling, he's figured out that he's made an eternity-limiting move. Sitting at his U-shaped control panel, Vinny watches the latest Damn Blam rapper Cool Breeze on the center holo screen. As is usual, Cool Breeze has sniffed up too much Colombian marching powder while on tour and is slapping his sobbing girlfriend to her knees. She begs him to stop hitting her, but that just makes him grab his chain-link belt from the dresser and prepare to bounce it off her spine. She gasps in a quick breath and screams. Cool Breeze is winding up to strike when he grabs his chest, doubles over, trembles, and hits the floor convulsing. Hearing the clapping of hands behind him, Vinny revolves around in his high-backed H.R. Giger-style chair and sees both Satan and Jezebel materialize in the war room. Damn good day's work, says Satan as he slams his fist into his palm. I'll bring down even more tomorrow. Why don't you come downtown and see the fruits of your labor? That's a good idea, agrees Jezebel. Outstanding, says Vinny as he stands up from the chair. Satan and Jezebel each put a hand on Vinny's shoulder and teleport him out of the room with them. On the center screen, Cool Breeze can be seen heaving and convulsing to death, while his girlfriend snatches up his wallet, grabs a handful of jewelry, and runs out of the posh hotel room. Bewildered, Senator Hereford looks around the wrought iron barred cage and sees a long chain connecting from its ceiling thousands of feet up and disappearing among the stalactites. He looks down to see a chasm thousands of feet down where molten metal runs like a winding, choppy river. Smelling a scent of aftershave, he looks around to see the chairman and his corporate heads flash into existence inside the cage with him. They take one look around, make the mistake of trying to take a breath, and cough on the freezing cold and ash-laden air. A scream precedes the arrival of the starlet, Claudia DeVille. She stares out to see billions of mindless laborers building a sinking Tower of Babel, and she can only gasp for air that is not there. With his empty hand still pointed into his mouth, the investment banker appears, followed by the cold, sweating Cool Breeze. Appearing on the bank of the chasm with Satan and Jezebel, Vinny looks around and just can't figure out where to look first and take it all in. He sees billions of the mindless handing building materials up the spiraling levels of the Tower of Babel to slowly add to its height. Ironically, the building is slowly sinking into the fiery depths below at the same time. Vinny looks around at the surrounding walls and sees demon guards standing hundreds of feet up in the bastions. He has to wonder if any of these guys know it was him who wasted two of their buddies. Then he looks at the wrought iron cage many stories above and sees the freshly arrived damn lambs. He flips them the bird and then he turns to Satan to see him watching his Tower of Babel with an amused grin. Our version of the Tower of Babel, says Satan with a wide-armed gesture. They keep building and building, thinking someday they'll reach heaven. Joke's on them because this damn thing just sinks deeper into the depths. Faster they build, faster it sinks. So you let them have hope. That and nothing more. Vinny moves closer to the bank to get a better look at the wrought iron cage. Satan walks up beside them and gestures to the damn lambs. Lambs in the cage. He chuckles as he sees their eyes on him. Don't act like you don't remember me. That's my line, Vinny. Don't act like you don't remember me. You all sold your souls to me and then ran to the Nazarene for salvation. But there's no escaping your contract. You will spend eternity here building my tower. Try to do otherwise, I'll drop you in the maze. There to spend the rest of your life lost in the passages. And worse, the kid here will be chasing you around. He does enjoy a new job. Yeah. The wrought iron cage descends to the bank. Vinny looks back to Satan as if asking what to do. He just wants to step on his line again, you know what I mean? You don't want to do that with the man downstairs. Satan just gestures to the cage and smiles. It's that kind of smile that says, "You're your toys now, so play with them, kid." Vinny walks over to the cage, sticks his finger in the lock and twists it. The lock clicks and he yanks open the door. He can't wait to grab Senator Hereford by the horns on his head and haul him out of the cage and smack that smug face of his. Move it out, maggots! Don't make me come in there after you. Nervously, the others clutter to the rear of the cage. His face twisting into a sneer, Vinny tosses Senator Hereford aside and hops up into the cage. He can't wait to bury his fist into the soft faces of those corpus heads. Sure, they might know Taekwondo, but Vinny's been fighting on the streets since age 5, and he takes a positive delight in dispensing pain on those who have it coming. He cracks their faces like Liberty Bells and tosses them out of the cage. They land in a pile on the bank and don't know where to run. Vinny grabs the starlet by the side of her hair and drags her screaming out of the cage. Suddenly he turns and sidekicks the investment banker in the chest, knocking him against the bars. Not because the man was any kind of threat, just because he looked like he deserved a quick beatdown. The investment banker drops tiredly to his knees, but Vinny just grabs him by the scruff of the neck and hauls him out of the cage. I thought I told you maggots out of the cage. You think I'm not serious just because I don't make 7 figures? Don't think I won't kick your ass for the rest of eternity. Jezebel cackles as she watches Vinny pimp slap Cool Breeze across his face, kick in 3 of his ribs, break 1 of his legs, and then introduce his face to the floor of the cage. She takes a long look at Vinny and knows he's a guy who has never been paid for what he's good at, never paid for producing his artwork, just told he's no good and to keep working a dead-end job until he became a statistic, and all those artistic impulses just splashed all the glass of an ATM machine. And now, no longer desiring to produce, Vinny had all that frustration that he could freely vent without the laws of man and God to stop him. And most of all, Satan not only enjoyed it, but accomplished his agenda by Vinny's rage. Holly is hanging crimson drapes over the oval windows when Vinny appears in the room with a wild grin on his face. One look at him and she can tell that he's turned further and further towards Satan's way of thinking. There's not a trace of indecision on his face. He knows he's approved of and necessary.
I finally got a job I'm good at. I hauled him down here. I beat him into the ground. I made him squeal and beg. I put him to work forever.
Holly sighs. You're the only one who enjoys it down here.
Well, why shouldn't I? I'm uniquely qualified. I'm the god for this job and I like it. Hell, I never had this much fun being alive.
I guess it's true what Adolf said.
Adolf Hitler? Asked Vinny. What did that loony say?
He said that some of us go through hell in life. Some find a worse hell here. Or they make a hell of heaven like you.
I don't think that was Adolf there, honey. Thinking John Milton over here.
Holly, you should have seen him. The richest of the rich. The top 1%. Getting their ass kicked by me. And their lawyers couldn't defend them. Their press agents couldn't lie for them. The cops they bought can't protect them. And all there is Vinny and the soul grinder. No escape. I guess beneath every guy is a megalomaniac waiting to break out. Nice guys get blown away, Holly. Nice guys get no respect. Nice guys is shit. You're only as good as your options. It ain't about options, Holly. The damn lambs don't respect you unless you kick them around. When I was alive, I couldn't even walk into their neighborhoods. You know what? Neither could you. I couldn't buy the privileges they had. But down here, money and connections mean nothing. Down here, a guy who's fat, bald, and ugly can amount to something. Down here, I get respect for a change. And it's all because the man in the other building thinks I matter. You matter while he has targets he wants you to pick off. Once you've finished hauling down the damn lambs, what do you think he'll do with you? Oh, I think it's an ongoing process. Somebody makes a deal with the man, then they bust the deal and go crying for the Nazarene. Then I cut him down and drop him in here. Forever. Nothing like job security, huh? Forever you cut down deal brokers. Forever I keep you amused. Isn't that repetition hell to you?
Vinny notices the drapes and walks over to touch them. He never really liked red before until arriving here and seeing how it all worked with the rock-carved condo. Hey, I like the drapes.
Very good, Holly. Nice touch. I'm forbidden from leaving here. I suppose I should make my cell as homey as possible.
Vinny wraps his arms around Holly and kisses her. She looks at him as if asking why he did that, and he smiles. Would you like a television? You can watch people on Earth screw up their lives.
Reality television from hell. Television can be a problem. You might see another fallen woman and decide to replace me with her.
I won't replace you.
Are you going to want to be with me here forever?
I wanted to be with you since the first day I saw you in class.
But since you were ugly, I look at you like you were a thalidomide baby.
Now, how do you look at me now?
Same way all slaves look up at the overclass.
Well, that's an easy answer.
Easy question, Vinny.
All you see is the ugly guy in the back of the class.
Vinny, why are we even talking about this?
If you want to sow some wild oats, just go ahead. Lots of other guys already did. Yeah, well, I don't treat women that way, you know. I'm not into that rape thing. I already told you that. Well, I'm never going to love you. Guess I'm too superficial. If it means anything, it isn't really your fault no one likes you. It's just genetics and finances. Shit that's beyond your control. I mean, some people were born to be rich and lucky and loved and respected. And then there's you. There's no money down here, and it doesn't matter how I look. Sure, I'm not as suave as Satan, but that doesn't matter. There's no law down here. There's no law down here to protect me from you or any of the other overclassers. If you're feeling an itch, then do like everyone else has. Scratch me. Real men don't treat people that way, Holly. Not even people like me. Not even people like you. I don't see how you could love me. Nobody else did. I did, Holly. I don't know, maybe I'll prove it to you. Vinny kisses Holly again. She smirks. Hey, I really appreciate how you decorated this place. It isn't home without you. You mean without a slave? No, it isn't home without you to come home to. I can't hate you. You really never did anything wrong to me. Yeah, and I won't either, promises Vinny. He runs his fingers through her hair and then holds her face in his hands. She doesn't smile, but she doesn't pull away either. Jezebel stares out the window to see the mindless building the sinking Tower of Babel on the horizon. She turns away from the windows to see Satan talking to a hologram of St. Peter that floats above the living room floor. I don't know how you did it, and I cannot prove it, admonishes St. Peter. Satan smiles. And that bothers you? St. Peter smirks. Senator Hereford's tongue splitting and horn sprouting was a dead giveaway. Then why haven't your tongue split? Asks Satan as he walks around the hologram and smiles wider. You've certainly told enough lies and half-truths. We are increasingly suspicious of you. So many born-again souls cut down so soon and in such grisly fashion. And do you think because they followed some religious tract that they deserve special treatment? They have recognized the folly of their ways and redeemed themselves. Just because you think they redeemed themselves does not mean they live a long life and die a soft death. Life is nothing. Not to be enjoyed. And death has a morbid sense of irony. Maybe you should take that matter up with him. We did. He said none of them were on his list for today. Well, then even death gets a prize once in 100 million years. Maybe you should check his list twice. That works for Santa Claus. You should know that we are contemplating taking action should anyone have any more untimely deaths occur, threatens St. Peter as he shakes his finger. Well, go ahead, scoffs Satan. Send a few divisions of your scorched-wing angels down here. They can join the ranks of my demons defeated. They can join the ranks of my demons defeated last time. Have you seen the little project I have them working on? I've seen that obscenity, a horrendous exercise in the futility of hope. Plenty of room for more builders. They can chant their little songs about rise into heaven. They can even pray for deliverance and spend eternity on a tower that sinks into the abyss as they build it. You're a cruel taskmaster. I am the most hated man in creation. Do those souls mean so much to you, asks St. Peter. Can't you just let them go? Nobody breaks a deal with the man downstairs. It's that simple for you? Oh yes. Like it or not, this is merely the beginning. We can protect them. You will try. You will fail. How did it come to this? You tried to take what was mine. The hologram of St. Peter's disappears. Satan turns to Jezebel. You have them frightened, offers Jezebel. To be afraid is a choice. They made the wrong one. So what will you do? Let my enforcer finish his job. And what if they send an assassin after Vinny? Satan chuckles and shakes his head. I have a great swell of pity for anyone expecting mercy after throwing the first punch at him. Demon guards standing atop a bastion are entertained to see the wrought iron cage lowered to the edge of the chasm. Vinny inserts his finger into the lock, yanks open the door, and smiles maniacally at a divorce attorney, a pimp, a college boy, a neatly uniformed East European dictator, Osama bin Laden himself, a priest holding a porno magazine, a KKK Grand Wizard, and just for fun, Vinny grabbed the drug dealer that lived in the apartment below his. He swaggers up to the cage and puts his hands on the lapels of his newly tailored seat. Maggots! Perverts! Power trippers! Flesh peddlers and religious criminals! Your walking disease made a contract with the man downstairs, and the red crying to the Nazarene, while the rock says no hiding place, and now your nasty asses are down here. You'll spend eternity building the tower. Attempt escaping, you'll be dropped into the maze. There to wander in dark passages forever. Now step out! The Grand Wizard sneers and looks at Osama bin Laden as if telling him to get out first. The pimp tries to cower behind the drug dealer. Vinny just loses his goddamn patience again, hops into the cage, grabs Osama by the beard and the Grand Wizard by his robe, and drags them both out. Growling mad, he throws them both to the ashen ground, kicks Osama in the face, turns suddenly and buries his foot in the Grand Wizard's gut. God damn it all bloody hell! I said step out! What is it with you parasites? You think just because I'm ugly you don't have to take me seriously? Hopping back into the cage, Vinny groin kicks the college boy. Seeing Vinny turn in his direction, the Eastern European dictator expects attack. He sneers and puts up his fists. Vinny fires several punches into the Eastern European dictator's face, then whirls about and kicks the pimp in the chest. Okay, who wants to play a game of find the cheese? Asks Vinny rhetorically. He knows he won't get any work out of that smarmy drug dealer, so he slaps the pimp, grabs the drug dealer by the throat, and headbutts him in the nose. By the time the drug dealer can see clearly, he's looking at stone walls thousands and thousands of feet high. He hops to his feet, looks around, and sees that he's in a chasm-like passage, a little more than 3 feet wide. Squinting his eyes, he can see the stairways leading to higher levels of the same passages, but they're all well over 100 feet above him. Hearing a chuckling sound, he turns to see Vinny standing there punching his fists together. I've seen yous before. I've seen you, says the drug dealer. Sure you have, you rectal crust, snaps Vinny. You infested an apartment I used to live in. But just for fun, I grabbed yous because I want to play with your life the way you've been playing with everyone else's. See, this is the maze. And you get to spend the rest of eternity looking for the cheese. But see, the cheese moves. Could be on this level, could be on hundreds and hundreds of others. And you could get lost in here and not see another person, damn soul, for 20 years or more. And if the isolation doesn't make you insane, then the utter futility of chasing walking cheese is going to make you fucking bug nuts. Hey, have fun. Wait, man, demands the drug dealer in a feeble voice. What do I get if I find the cheese? Do I get out of here? Where would you go if you did? I don't know. Well, you won't like any place you end up, chuckles Vinny. Guarantee that. You're my little toy, and so is the other little parasite that I decided to drop in here. Hey, who knows? I might just drop the cheese in between you and some other miscreant and let you twos fight it out. The drug dealer looks around. Which direction do I go? Don't matter. This thing's 100 billion miles in either direction. It winds, it drops, it rises, it twists, it drops some more into places you don't want to be. Like I said, have fun. Sneering, the drug dealer rushes at Vinny. With a laugh, Vinny just teleports away and lets the drug dealer drive face down onto the ashen rock. Hopping to his feet, the drug dealer looks around and hears the echo of Vinny's laughter bounce off the myriad of walls and staircases surrounding him. He might not hear another human voice for 300 years. Still laughing, Vinny appears at the base of the Tower of Babel. Then he sees a chuckling demon guard kicking the Eastern European dictator to a bloody pulp. With the sneering hot metal whip lashing on his back, Osama bin Laden grabs several bricks and scurries up the steps with a female demon guard tight on his tail. Oddly enough, he did not miss doing his artwork at all. No one liked his drawings, his watercolors, or his sculptures anyway. But he liked meting out punishment to those whom in life thought were better than him. This might be an odd way to deal with an inferiority complex, but to Vinny, it was all just kicks and giggles. He walks around the base of the Tower of Babel and it occurs to him that it will likely take an hour to go the whole distance. But it was fun to see billions of damn lambs being whipped into hard labor that would never end. Vinny! Hearing his voice yelled out, Vinny turns and sees a demon guard on a high bastion pointing to a cart full of bricks. Something is moving behind that cart. With a wave of his hand, Vinny causes the heavy cart to slowly roll aside, revealing a burly slave wearing spiked gauntlets. Oddly, this slave is not covered in ash nor laden with bites from a whip. He is not a new arrival because Vinny had seen them arrive hours ago, and none of them were as big as this guy. This one has a nasty, almost smug grin on his face that a slave just shouldn't be wearing, so he must be something else. Hey, Puss, you looking for a shot at the title? Asked Vinny, hoping to incite him. Howling, the slave rushes at Vinny and poises his gauntlets to impale. Vinny simply thinks thin thoughts and causes molecular structure to loosen cohesion, and the slave runs right through him and slams into the side of the tower base. Vinny chuckles, turns about, and thinks heavy thoughts. The slave rushes at Vinny, slams his gauntlets into Vinny's head, and breaks both of his wrists against Vinny's overwhelming solidity. The slave staggers back, wincing at the pains that shoot through his arms. I got a special place for you, chuckles Vinny as he kicks the slave in the guts and drops him on his back. Then grabbing the slave by his long hair, Vinny drags the slave toward the iron cage and shoves him into it. He slams the door closed, inserts his finger in the lock to seal it tight, then he steps back. Hearing applause, he looks up to see several demon guards in the bastion above who watched the short fight and were amused. You know, I get the feeling this punk don't like me too much, says Vinny as he swaggers on the cage. You know what else? I think he's cold. Yeah, I think he's really cold. So, why don't you guys warm this putz up a little? Emitting sinister and guttural laughs, two demon guards rotate a winch wheel, causing the cage to slowly rise off the bank and swing out over the flaming abyss. Then they slowly rotate the winch the other direction to feed more chain through the lower the cage down into the fiery abyss. Frantically, the slave screams and begs for his pathetic life, but its cries are not heard over the laughter of the demon guards. Oh, it is going to be a hot time in the whole town tonight, sings Vinny, horribly out of key, as he steps to the edge of the bank and watches the cage plunge down into the flames of molten metal. Faintly, can he hear the slave scream? But he just doesn't have enough mercy left in him to offer them the chance to retreat. So he just watches the flames heat up the cage and slowly incinerate the screaming slave. So for a split second, he wonders if any other slaves will get out of line. Then he figures this little demonstration will keep the other billion or so in thrall and cast the thought of it out of his head. He has office work to get back to. Vinny never tried any of those extreme sports before. Just taking a walk through Central Park after dark was adventure enough without an automatic weapon and body armor. But here he is, watching Rage from LA as he tapes the latest episode in his weekly reality TV series. This week, Rage is diving out of a plane on a surfboard and intends to land on the ocean and surf his way back to shore. Vinny watches Rage dive out of a Cessna and execute several aerial surfing maneuvers. He's tickled with anticipation. He watches Rage yank the ripcord. The parachute pack opens, and the parachute plumes out, snapping the cords off with it. Maintaining his cool, Rage grabs the handle of the reserve chute, yanks the ripcord, and is shocked to see the parachute rise out, tied all in knots. Suddenly Rage feels that spasm in his stomach as it rises up and bounces off his lungs. He plunges down, knowing that not even the surfboard will slow him down enough. Rage is going to hit the water at such velocity that he might as well be hitting concrete. And worse, his remains won't be washing up on shore for anyone to pick apart and sell on eBay. That great white shark down there doesn't believe in meeting the reserve. That great white shark has decided on the eat it now option. Don't shit yourself, laughs Vinny. I like a man who takes pleasure in his work, says Satan as he enters the war room. First job I ever had that I like, says Vinny as he hops out of the chair and gestures to the screen. He watches Rage slam the sea, break every bone in his body, and turn into a bloody limp noodle as he slides into the shark's mouth. The last thing Rage feels is 3 rows of razor-sharp teeth puncture his testicles. I understand an assassin came after you today. It's just a slave attempting escape, sir, says Vinny with a shrug. I dipped him into the abyss. I was no slave. Seems the Nazarene is wise to you. He sent that assassin posing as a slave to take you out. I didn't know God sanctioned murder. Oh, he does. Remember the Spanish Inquisition? Not personally, but I'll take your word for it. I should email God and tell him he's not getting that punk back. Next time he won't just send one. A hit team? Right. Vinny snorts. They rejected me and now they want to take me out. That's rich. I can't afford to let them take you out, Vincent. Somehow Vinny did not like the ultra-serious tone of what Satan just said. That almost sounds like a threat. Now how do you make Satan mellow out? They're taking me nowhere. I like it here. There is another option. Go on the lam? The other option is I give you something I was never allowed. Vinny shakes his head. I don't get it. You won't be taken. You'll be where they won't look for you. Where is that? Another time, another place. What about Holly? Damn. You're really stuck on her, aren't you? Well, yeah. You're the only man on earth who really ever loved that girl. And she was programmed by the media and so enamored with her popularity that she didn't even see it. She won't even see it now. How could you want someone so immature? Maybe I just don't know any better. Yeah. Fools in love never do, says Satan with a chuckle. I'll review her situation. Make ready to move, my friend. Satan turns and vanishes from the room. Vinny can only drop into his chair and think about another time and another place. That's a lot of places. It was rare that Satan didn't just come right out and say what he meant, unless he was making a deal with an undeserving brat. Then he might speak vaguely. But what did he mean by another time in another place? Where and when? And where could he go where heaven's assassins would not come looking for him? He might only find out when he got there. And would even like it there. Or, having become a liability to Satan, would Vinny just be done away with? Holly was accustomed to a backhand across the face, but a lightning bolt punch to the face was something new. As she tumbles backwards, she loses any preconceived notions she ever had about angels. They aren't all the paragons of virtue and goodness. Some of them will crack your jaw if they don't get the answer they want, even if you don't know the answer. And these three will rip your limbs off if they even think you're lying to them. If you don't want us to beat you again, then tell us where Vinny is, threatens the first. I don't know, sobs Holly. They don't let me out of here. A beating is all these people understand, grumbles the second. Pull her pretty scalp off, chuckles the third. She'll talk. I don't know. Vinny appears in the living room. 3 scorched-wing angels turn on him. He smiles, ready for a fight. Vinny, go! The second backhands Holly across the face, causing her to scream and curl into a fetal position. Before the others can advance, Vinny grabs a fireplace poker and brings it down on the second angel's head, denting it. He spins it on his toes and kicks side kicks the third. The first points his hand at Vinny and fires a laser web at him. Vinny ducks fast and low while the web passes over him and envelops the second. Jumping to his feet, the third runs up a wall, springs off and flies at Vinny. Turning quickly, Vinny punches him in the face and sends him flopping to the rug. The first pulls a scabbard and moves to stab Vinny. Appearing near the fireplace, Satan launches a needle from his right sleeve and inserts it into the kidney of the first, causing all the air to gasp out of his lungs. A mischievous smile comes to Satan's face as he watches the first angel's knees buckle, his torso shudder, and his eyes look up to his. "I really hope you like lugging bricks," hisses Satan as he yanks the needle out of the first angel's kidney and stomps down on his throat. Sending several rapid punches into the third's face, Vinny grabs his throat and channels jolts of electricity into him until he convulses into unconsciousness. He turns to see the second angel, still snared in the laser web. He can think of dozens of ways to torture this scorched wing angel into passing out, but he's sure Satan could do it better. "Looks like St. Michael is getting serious," says Satan. "He's sent a scorched wing hit squad after you." Nothing for nothing. What's a scorched wing? They are people who died by violence, just like you. But the man upstairs has a good deal for them. They get to come back to Earth in angel form to fight my demons and prevent humans from dying before their time. But when things get desperate, they even come down here to hunt guys like you. How long is this going to go on? Till he gets you. Vinny steps over to Holly and cradles her. Pulling a white handkerchief, he moves it toward her face to wipe the tears from her eyes. She yanks the handkerchief out of his hands and wipes her own eyes. He can quickly sense her resentment of him, but there's nothing he can say or do to improve her opinion of him. He just cannot think of a thing to win her over. And yet, all Bolt, the football captain, had to do was reach up her skirt, pinch her ass, and tell her the same old lies he told every other cheerleader. He cannot help but look to Satan for an answer. As you've seen, if they cannot find you, they'll go after her. If they come back, we fight them off again. Maybe next time they take her from you. So what's the answer? Asks Vinny with desperation cracking his voice. What do I do? You can't stay here. But this is my home now. No, Vinny. This was never your home. You were just visiting. And the visit is over. So where do I go? You're taking a trip. And Holly's going with you. Well, where are we going? Passaic. Before Vinny can even comment, he and Holly disappear. Satan stands over the second and nudges him with his foot. Goddamn hypocrites. The demon guards just walk right through the solid wall and solidify. Satan turns to them. Put these three to work lugging bricks up the tower. They give you any crap, toss them in the maze. And damn it, take out their tongues and file them in their teeth while you're at it. I don't want them talking to anybody. The demons smile and pull their scabbard knives. One demon guard grabs the second angel by the neck and holds him down while the second demon punches his jawbone till it cracks. The second angel screams. The second demon yanks the second angel's mouth open, stabs the knife in, and with a quick flick of his wrist, carves out the second angel's tongue in a stream of energy. Satan chuckles and looks at the injured first and third angels who wait their turns to get their tongues sliced out and their teeth filed. And he's not going to miss a second of it. He's already missing his little pal Vinny. Not that a guy like Satan has much to share in common with anybody. But then again, the world above is full of the rejected, the fed up, the unwanted, the discriminated against people who'd enjoy the chance to get some payback down here. Why, there must be over 1 million in New Jersey alone. It's not like he'd have to work hard to get them downtown, and it's not like he has to keep them down here. Just like Vinny, he could just have them visit for a short time and then go right back to live their lives. Or perhaps on to live a better version of their lives. Just one breath of the cold air scented with rust, and Vinny knows he's back in Passaic again. It looks different though. Some of those family shops on the block were not here when he left mere days ago. They've been gone for more than 10 years and replaced by chain stores. Vinny looks down at the puddle and sees his reflection. He does not have that jagged beard or those tired bags under his eyes anymore. His skin looks smoother. His clothes are newer. He does not feel tired and heavy, but rather energetic. Lighter weight, more muscular. As if possibilities awaited. Stuffing his hand in his pocket, he pulls out his wallet and looks at the picture on his driver's license. He remembers the day this license was made. Thursday of last week. He's 18 again! He's 18! And the last 14 years have not happened at all. He did not end up in the ATM with a bullet where his brain used to be. He has those 14 years old and perhaps many, many more to live out. All he has to do is not step into that ATM machine in 14 years and maybe he won't be a crime statistic. But where to go now? He looks up the hill and sees a tired manager, Aldo, pulling down the door over the theater entry. And then he looks down the hill to see the familiar sight of Bolt's black and blue van rocking side to side under the bridge overpass. Bolt always took his dates under the overpass. Bolt always got them passed out drunk. And his dates all contracted a death sentence that might only give them months or years to go on existing. And then he remembers who was Bolt's date for tonight. Holly slaps Bolt Mackey across the face.
We're not doing this, Bolt.
Bitch, give it up, snaps Bolt as he shoves her hard against the side of the van.
I'm leaving,
Says Holly as she reaches for the door latch and thumbs open the lock. Like hell! Bolt grabs the neck of her cheerleader team jacket and rips the snaps open.
Bolt, stop!
Bolt slaps Holly's face. I paid for the bottle, so I paid for you. Holly hits Bolt. He snaps a punch to her jaw and then tears open her blouse. Without warning, the van door is slung open. Vinny reaches in, grabs Bolt by the neck, and yanks him out of the van. Before Bolt can even rise to his feet, Vinny is already drilling into his face with rapid punches that splits his lip, crush the cartilage of his nose, and causes his eyes to tear. Holly screams. Vinny slams Bolt's face down on the sidewalk and causes his jaw to break. Bolt howls. Vinny grabs up a waterlogged piece of newspaper, stuffs it in Bolt's mouth, and slams his forehead down onto the sidewalk. Can't believe they made you captain of the football team instead of me, grumbles Vinny as he slams his knee into Bolt's ribcage. You make us all look so damn bad. Bolt pukes out alcohol and gas for air. Vinny turns to Holly and holds his hand out to her. She looks at his hand, then looks at his face before sneering. Come on, says Vinny. You need to walk home.
Not going anywhere with you. You're ugly.
Somehow we knew she was going to say something like that. He's just trying to do the right thing, and she hurls the quickest insult that comes to mind. Yeah, but I won't treat you so bad, so let's go home before it rains.
I said I'm not going anywhere with you, ugly bastard.
Vinny watches Bolt puke out more alcohol. Hey, if you don't want to look at me, then fine. But let's go before that disease maniac makes you sick too.
The hell are you talking about?
He's carrying a disease. He said so in the locker room. And he doesn't care who he gives it to, including you.
He said he loved me. Then he got drunk again.
That's a guy's lie, Holly. Now straighten yourself up. Come on, let's go. Holly tries to close her blouse, but the buttons are torn off. She snaps closed her cheerleader team jacket and steps out of the van. She sees Bolt roll over on the trash-laden ground and diverts her eyes from him. He didn't look sick, just drunk. But how could she tell? Just stay down there, Bolt, grumbles Vinny as he stomps down on Bolt's chest and flattens him to the pavement. I'll send the cops over to pick you up. What for? Gasps Bolt through his vomit-lined throat. Attempted rape, replies Vinny. Bolt just lies there, too beat and dizzy and tired to move. Vinny takes Holly's hand, but she pulls away from him. He smirks and walks out from under the overpass. Shaking her head, Holly follows Vinny and just hopes that none of her popular friends see her walking around with a guy who isn't. See, I'm not going to say I told you so or nothing like that.
Good, save it.
But you could do better.
He's popular.
Is popular worth getting sick for?
How sick?
Does HIV mean anything to you?
You're not kidding, are you?
No.
You're not just trying to get me for yourself, are you?
You want me to be honest?
Yes.
I'm not popular. You wouldn't like me.
So why do you care?
Well, how the bloody hell should I know, Holly? Vinny and Holly turned the corner and moved down the block laden with stores and shops. Not a single one is open. Vinny wishes that old malt shop was open, but it's been closed for at least an hour. It was the only malt shop left over from the 1950s.
How does you know where I live? Asks Holly.
We used to be on the same bus.
Oh. Then you haven't been stalking me.
I don't do that,
Thought all guys did that.
says Holly with a shrug. Nope.
How do you know where to find me?
Both is a creature of habit.
Oh,
Says Holly with another shrug.
so you were stalking Bo?
No.
I don't get it.
Stalking means you actually have to follow someone. I already knew where to go. Holly sneers.
Well, if you think playing Prince Valiant is going to get you laid, forget it. Girls don't need wannabe knights. They want guys with money, credit, upward mobility.
Then he gestures to the three-story apartment building. You're home.
Oh yeah, says Holly with a shrug. How about that? I used to expect me to thank you or something.
They stop walking. Holly leans against the building. Sleep it off, Holly, says Vinny. He doesn't know what else to say. It's not like the public education system teaches you eloquent speech to use on cheerleaders. Of course, any refined speech is wasted on someone not likewise trained to understand it.
What, you're not going to sweet talk me?
Vinny shakes his head and crosses the street.
You don't expect me to chase you, do you?
Vinny walks down the sidewalk, having decided to ignore her. He realizes that even if he could recite a Shakespearean sonnet, the words would be wasted on her. He has no money or social status to impress her with. Born without a handsome appearance, money, lands, or connections, he is not a life but an existence. Taking a last look at Holly standing there, Vinny rounds the bend and bumps into a tall, long-haired European-looking man in blue jeans and a denim jacket.
Excuse me, sir. I wasn't looking where I was going.
No harm done, kid. Damn, you look like you lost your best friend.
She doesn't want to be my friend.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Replies Vinny with a shrug. He takes a look around the bend to see Holly turn and walk up the front steps of the apartment building. As far as he can see, she's nothing to be impressed about. But then again, Vinny's a little more athletic than Charlie Brown, and at only 18 years old, he doesn't know any better. Well, the hell with her. Go find yourself some decent girl someplace else.
Think it's that easy?
Damn right it is. Wish I knew where to go, says Vinny with another shrug. For one thing, stop shrugging so damn much. Then think, what is holding you here?
Gotta finish high school.
Where are you going after high school?
Don't know.
Take some free advice. Get out of Jersey.
How? I'm broke. I work, but I'm broke.
How'd your dad get out?
Joined the army. Problem is, he came back.
So who says you have to come back?
Got a point. Army's a big step, though.
Hey, it's just a few years. It's not like you're selling your soul. You go see the world, meet some people, save some money for college. Maybe you don't have much, but time you got. You can bank on that.
Damn right, says Vinny with an enthusiastic smile.
You have a good life, Vinny Corelli.
Thanks. Thanks, I will.
Vinny starts walking down the block. Suddenly he turns around.
The man has disappeared.
There's no one on the street at all.
Hey, how you know who I am?
Calls Vinny, hoping the man would hear him. The dark clouds rumble. Vinny looks up with a suspicious expression on his face to see the storm clouds swirl aside to reveal the stars above. Well, that's all there is for Vinny Corelli and the man downstairs, but I have much more material. In addition to the Outworlder projects, I'm considering a stand-up comedy special titled Comedy Not for Kids. There, the disclaimer, legal disclaimer no less, is right in the title. I'm something of a Renaissance man, and I like to direct my energy all over the XYZ axis. So, good day, Gotham City, wherever you are.